Acolytes, this is a new one from Technomunda. Fair enough. Thank you for posting me this new one. And let's see what Marvel rivals sexuality in video games. I'm gonna be honest. Hey, if you don't do it, the game fails. This is all I'm gonna say.
If you had told me that a hero shooter based on Marvel Comics would not only have a good launch, but net hundreds of thousands of players, and I would be giving it my time, money, and other things, in 2024, I would have called you insane. If you had told me it would be called a gooner game, I would have been much less surprised. I won't...
And by the way, after seeing Marvel Rivals and playing it myself, I'm not a shooter fan, but it is so much hype around it that I just wanted to see it. I don't even think that the core of the game is something special. Mind you, Acolytes, I don't say it's not good, it's very good, but it's nothing special. And yet, the design just puts it out there. That's what I think. And it deserves every single praise it gets.
It's never going to be used.
Say there is no gooning happening.
I know that we are.
Because I'm not a liar, but for the most part it's pay to goon. Emma Frost is obviously a little different, but that's canonically how she is. She gives people a little peek of cheek meat because it's distracting, and given how she usually looks, I think the Rivals design is a pretty conservative look for her.
Yep, it is.
But this isn't just about Emma. People were calling it a gooner game before her or any of these skins came out, and it's just coming back up because she's been introduced. Rivals was made by the East, and the East does not adhere to the Western quasi-religious drive to purge anything beautiful from ever touching your eyes. No, if you aren't making your characters as much of an assault on your vision as possible in the Big 25, you are a misogynist. Men overwhelm...
Oh, wait, give me a second, because he's correct about it. I'm aware comic Emma is also heavily sexualized, but have ya all considered she was also designed for the male gaze? And doing a modern version of her, could we get rid of the aspect without getting rid of her sexuality? First of all, F you, no, get the F out. Ideas like this just don't work. Second of all, fuck you, just because you want an ugly character, make a plastiline Männchen and fucking eat it. This is what you are good for. Get the F out.
Misogynist. Men overwhelmingly make up the gaming market. Yes, the average woman may play things like Stardew Valley or The Sims, but the market is male-dominated. Most video games...
I'm gonna be honest. Except for very, very extremely casual gamers, I didn't see a lot of women play puzzle games. Like real life women that I actually talk to. Most of them play or a lot of them play The Sims, not even most of them. But a lot of them play the same games I do. And especially the sexy characters. So, sorry, nah. Most women play way more sexy women play more sexy women characters than I do. So,
just don't appeal to the female brain, the same way reality TV doesn't appeal to men. That's the entire reason we have the joke of, you're a woman and a gamer? Wowie zowie! But most media companies have forgotten that you have to play to your audience. They serve the market, not vice versa. So when you purposefully make a game full of ugly, angry lesbians and tell straight men this game wasn't made for them, they listen and don't play it. The game fails, the studio goes under, blame the chuds and trolls, rinse and repeat. They honestly expect you to eat the slop you're given while insulting you with a smile on your face.
You have to understand that the difference between America and China when they're making video games is that China makes video games to make money and America makes video games to send a message. And the reason why is because This is what people want. You want to make Concord? Go make Concord. But the fact is that characters that are attractive and appealing are popular, and if you appeal to insecure fat Karens on the internet, all you're going to have playing your game are insecure fat Karens. And based off of Concord, that doesn't really seem like it's a good business proposition.
A lot of people over the past decade have dedicated themselves to demonizing men's sexuality. People who claim to be feminists but are really misandrists wearing a suffragette's skin. People
Not just that, but also racist. So there's that.
Who think that lifting up women means that they must tear down men. People who celebrate OnlyFans models before turning around and calling the men whose attention is the only reason they have a job incel losers. Guess what? The porn star is a far bigger loser because she's selling her dignity for a $4 monthly subscription. I think the reason we see so many despondent men nowadays.
By the way, I agree with him. And there's everything in life. It has its place, but don't overdo it. Especially to my furry fans. You know if you know.
Is at least partially because the thing that gives them this sex drive is also the very thing that makes them want to do anything worth doing. All you have to do is look at a single man's apartment to understand that we would still be in the Stone Age if women weren't around to impress. We got to the Bronze Age because we wanted some glow. We made Rome because we wanted dome. Testosterone gives us this monstrous sex drive, yes, but it also drives us to build, innovate, to write love songs, to create something beautiful to show our love. It's a package deal.
The thing is, I don't think that testosterone just does those things, but basically everything. If you get pumped up, you wanna do shit. You really wanna do shit. Brittany Hagoboom. I always been fascinated by the way men write love. If you look at popular film and stories like Slumdog Millionaire, Braveheart, The Divine Comedy, even superhero movies, you may notice that girl is barely in it, but she's everything. She's beautiful, pure, untouchable, and somehow just the idea of her keeps him going. She's his reason for risking everything. Correct. Men like to protect, like to provide. That's natural for us. We love this. This is what we are made for. And if we can protect, teach, and just show that we are the freaking stone, the mountain that's immovable, then a man is happy. It's kind of wild how often this shows up. The girl isn't really. She is, but to him she's almost more of a symbol, a dream, a source of his inspiration. I think men might actually be more romantic, at least in the Idealization, since they build up this perfect version of a woman in their head and the version becomes holy. You never see her flaws. She doesn't even get a chance to mess up. She just exists, beautiful. Meanwhile, women fell in love with men knowing their flaws, and despite of them, I can fix him is a common trope, or like Chiles in the White Lotus thinking about Rick, I can heal him. Even subconsciously, a girl wants to be her hero source of inspiration. Fair enough. Fair enough, Brittany.
To show our love. It's a package deal. If you want the go-getter and the romantic, at some point, you're going to have to accept that there's a freak in there too. The people that push for ugly women in our media are typically women themselves, perennially miserable women who hate that you're having any fun. How dare you have any space without girls, you incel freaks? How dare you have something that appeals to you, specifically? If you have anything that keeps any amount of light in your eyes and any desire to see tomorrow in your heart, you need to pick up another shift in the coal mines, you man-child. But both men and women like to play pretty women. Ask yourself what kind of characters women cosplay. These or these?
Yeah.
It's overwhelmingly this one.
In my opinion, if all women were extremely against such character design, they wouldn't cosplay these characters. There wouldn't be any appeal. But in this case, I'm not just talking about professional cosplayers. I'm talking about girls who don't do any sort of content creation, but they will buy these outfits for themselves, for Halloween parties and all sorts of other fancy dress opportunities.
Baldur's Gate 3 has overt sex scenes, but it gets held up when Rivals gets put down because it has like one attractive woman and is filled to the brim with the type of demented sexual fantasies you see on Book Talk. Making something like this would get you kicked out of a sane, functioning society. The kinds of people that celebrate this while hating games like Bayonetta are so insecure that they must make every character exactly like themselves so they can feel better about themselves. This article even complains that Bayonetta's status as a kink-positive gay icon is ruined by the fact that she's actually straight. The horror. In the past, women who weren't stereotypically attractive had to be kind and desirable to be around, hence why, oh, she has a great personality became something groan-worthy to hear. Now many of them are just spiteful people who can't stand their own existence so much that they must make everyone as miserable as them. But there's not no amount of truth to the kinds of things they say.
What? Nuance in my YouTube video?
As a society, we are hypersexualized. Sex is treated as something casual you do with a stranger instead of the most intimate thing you can do with another person. You can whip out your phone whenever you have an urge down under and find any person or character performing any sort of fetish you may have, and that's even worse now with AI.
Promoting a destructive behavior under the marketable guise of sexual liberation is abhorrent. It's so interesting how women constantly complain about how shallow and objectifying their relationships with men are, but then promote hookup culture, which directly encourages this exact transactional process. If feminism actually cared about women as much as it claims to, the movement would be encouraging them to be more selective about their sexual partners. It would be educating them about the negative effects of casual sex, since we know that it leads to decreased relationship satisfaction.
They are teaching women to be very selective. I would even in fact say way too selective. And acolytes, my, 26,000 years here plus show me a lot of things. And I already seen how some women became cat ladies. And will stay that way until they came over. And they won't even use their bodies for zombies. Because that's disgusting.
Loneliness and depression.
I hate that. It isn't healthy for anyone. I'm not saying that every game should have women with triple Ds and a booty with its own field of orbit oiled up in micro bikinis. I hate that every release with good character design becomes a contest of who can crack the models and upload them getting cracked the fastest. I'm just saying the solution isn't making characters that make you want to blind yourself. The solution is to step back, realize what is actually contributing to that hypersexualization, and stop it. Go for the prostitutes and porn companies, not the men who want to play a bad bitch instead of a fat, whiny narcissist. And that applies to everything, not just the heteronormative stuff. If you want to goon, whatever man, but you can't keep straight men from coming to the sesh. Either everyone gets a spot.
You definitively cannot stop men from coming to the sesh.
The circle jerk, or no one does. That's true equality. Thanks for sticking around until the end of the video, and that goes double if you saw my Devil May Cry video. As of recording, it was at 18K, which is just great.
Nice. Congrats. F yeah. I hope you hit it big. Ah! There he is. Betrayer. 3 months in the soldier. Thank you for posting this video, by the way. Very, very interesting. Very, very nice. Also a bit something to think of. I mean, this video didn't actually entirely make me think about something new. He's just factual about it. It is what it is. But hey, as it is, good night, acolytes.